very good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. The pandemic has indeed fast forwarded our way of living. Our country is in the unlocking mode, and it's time to rethink and press the refresh button to ensure that the future is as we envision it to be. Design is always changing, and with tech and design in aligning, we are arguably headed to the most radical period of change in design history. So how radical will the design landscape of 2022 be? We've all gathered here to find answers to this pertinent question and explore these opportunities that are not just temporary, but are focused on creating a sustainable future. On this occasion, it gives me immense pleasure to have gotten the opportunity to collaborate with one of the most forward-thinking brands in the electrical segment, Polycab. Polycab has been a market leader with a revenue of over 88 billion, making them the largest manufacturers of wires and cables in India, and is also the fastest growing FMEG player. Today, I'm delighted to be seated among some of the most prominent names in the industry and welcome you all to this very special panel. A very warm welcome to architect Hiren Patel, Bhadri and Snehal Suthar, Neeraj Shah and Taral Shah, Managing Director Shivalik Group, and of course, Mr. Manoj Verma, Chief Operating Officer, Polycab India. The product that we are going to unveil today is going to revolutionize the way we look at smart automation, called Home. It's a homegrown portfolio from the house of Polycab, developed on indigenous platform and 100% manufactured in India. Ladies and gentlemen, I look forward for a great session, but before that, let me hand over the conversation to Mr. Verma. Just a little surprise for our lovely viewers. We have kept 3 prizes to be given away at the end of the session. Mind you, 3 very exciting gift hampers by Polycab, the hints for which are hidden in the conversations to follow. So all eyes on the screen. So people in the audience, make sure that you listen to what Mr. Verma is going to talk about from now. Over you to Mr. Verma.
Good afternoon, everyone, and warm welcome to each one of you to this session. And my personal gratitude and thank you to each one of you for having taken out time to participate in this session. As far as I'm concerned, I drive the FMEG business at Polycab. So before I get into any more details, may I request Amrita for the AV, please. What we are going to do today is we're going to give you a very, very quick walkthrough to altogether new portfolio and a new vertical that we have launched from the house of Polycab. So can we have the AV, please?
Alexa, open curtains. Imagine a lifestyle tailor-made to pamper you. Introducing the Home Smart Automation Solutions from Polycab, which transforms your house into an intelligent home, where intelligence is aesthetic, where functionality meets efficiency, where comfort knows the warmth you wish for. Where technology spins a tale of tranquility. Where romance is orchestrated at your command. An integrated system which lets you control your home from any part of the world. Alexa, turn sleep mode on. Now, set the desired ambience, set daily schedules, and quite importantly, monitor your power consumption. Now, give your home the aesthetics it aspires and the intelligence it deserves with home automation solutions from Polycab.
So that was a curtain raiser. That was the first glimpse of what home as a portfolio would offer you. What it would offer you is an experience of delight, experience of comfort. Can I have the presentation, please? So home is not about products. Home is not about a portfolio. Home is all about an experience that finally is going to get you to an experience of life elated. What is it about? It is about convenience, it is about comfort, it is about an elevated lifestyle. And how does that happen? It happens at the touch of a button, it happens on voice control, it happens on your mobile via an app, which is both Android and iOS, and which is what we call the home. Next slide, please. Home is all about experience, as I said, and that experience is through smart controls. Smart controls via the mobile, voice assistant, possibility of creating scenes, possibility of scheduling the various electrical gadgetry that is there in a home. And above all, home also offers you an opportunity of retrofitting an existing installation and making it smart without asking for any rewiring. Next slide, please. So what is home? Home is basically owning an experience. Home is about installing that experience that you can do it by yourself. It's an experience that you enjoy. And finally, the end result is your experience of a life elated. Next, please. I'm not going to spend too much time. It's just a snapshot of the various products, which are basically the heroes that create the experience. So we have a full portfolio of products cutting across lighting, geysers, IR blasters, switches, and fans. Next, please. As a result that we want to be a very, very advanced and a very, very 360-degree automation solutions company, we took one big step towards our readiness, and that was in the acquisition of an automation company from Bangalore called Sylvan. And this is a company which has expertise in home automation. Next slide, please. It has an experience which is evident in the fact that it has already the who's who in the developers and the reality segment as their satisfied customers. So whether you talk of Lodha, Shobha, Tata Housing, Prestige, Purvankara, these are all customers who have used Sylvan solutions for their various residential projects, and they are satisfied. So in all, if I may say, we already have at Sylvan created over 10,000 plus installations of home automation. We also have enterprise solutions. We also have security solutions. And the biggest USP that Sylvan brings to the table now, along with Polycab, is the ability to execute complex automation solutions with very, very strict deadlines. And this has been demonstrated and this has been recognized by most of our customers. Next, please. So what does home as a solution stack offer? Think of anything electrical or a utility or a functionality that you may have in your complex. I'm not confining myself to the home. I'm extending into boom barriers, access control, CCTV, video door phones, lighting, air conditioning, you name it. And the Sylvan platform allows you to integrate it into a common platform whereby you can have a 360-degree view, 360-degree configuration, and a 360-degree monitoring of what is happening where. Next, please. In specific, if I talk of a home automation, the Home plus Sylvan package or the solution company that we from the House of Polycab bring to your table, I'm not going to read out, but you can figure out for yourself. Whatever be it in a home, the Sylvan platform allows you to integrate it, configure it, and manage it. And the home offers you the product heroes that enable you to create the experience that any consumer may want to create in his home, office, shop, restaurant, hospital, or an office. Next, please. So in short, what is Home plus Sylvan? A complete end-to-end efficient solution. We are in a position to offer you packages that fit your wallet. So from a basic package to a platinum, which is various levels of home automation for a 1-bedroom through a 4-bedroom apartment. This is an organization that would continue the drive on technology and features. There are many areas that we have already started working on in terms of AI, AR, VR. We are committed to offering you an ultimate experience. And at the end of it all, everybody knows Polycab. We are from cables to wires to switches to switchgear, which is the electrical distribution part. And then we have a whole portfolio of products which consume this electricity. So we from the house of Polycab via Home and Silver assure you that this is a one-stop shop for all automation solutions that you may look for. Next, please. So just a snapshot. We can offer you an automation solution for a one-bedroom home at as low as 30,000. And we can offer you a fully loaded, full function automation solution for a 4 BHK at about 320,000. Next, please. There are some more products that we are adding in the Q4, which is in the October, December. So by the turn of this calendar year, we will offer you solutions of curtain motors, gas leak sensors, occupancy sensors, cameras, audio video door phones, smart locks, and many more to come. So that's in short what Home is. Thank you very much for the patient hearing, and we look forward to interacting with each one of you for any requirement that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Verma. That was incredible. And I'm sure home is the present and the future of smart homes. On that note, firstly, I want to congratulate Polycab for the launch of this revolutionary product and give a really, really warm welcome to all our panelists. It's great to meet each one of you virtually, and I look forward to some fabulous insights on the topic of discussion today, which is designing futuristic spaces with automation. Like I mentioned, I am delighted to be seated among such prominent names in Ahmedabad city, most of whom don't even need an introduction, but I'm still going to give it a shot. First on our panel is architect Hiren Patel of Hiren Patel Architects. Hiren has been an architect par excellence for over 3 decades, renowned for creating dynamic spaces that embody a harmonious balance between nature and all that is man-made. Welcome, Hiren. Taral Shah is the managing director of Shivalik Group, one of the most prestigious real estate companies of Gujarat. He's also the president of Credai Ahmedabad Youth Wing and secretary of Credai Gujarat Youth Wing, besides being a member of RERA and Infra Committees. Snehal and Badri Suthar are co-founders of Grid Architects, a multidisciplinary design firm whose projects span across categories and focus on a common thread of sustainability. Badri is also a part of an access group which undertakes the design of barrier-free interiors and buildings according to international standards. Neeraj Shah is the partner founder of IDEO Design, a multidisciplinary firm with 2 verticals, interior architecture and graphic design. He was also the chairperson of Triple ID from 2017 to 2019, the Ahmedabad regional chapter. And of course, we have Mr. Manoj Verma, who's an industry veteran and has significant work experience in sales, marketing, and operations across top companies in the electrical segment. He's the executive president of COO of Polycab India and is driving the FMEG business unit to great heights. A very warm welcome to each one of you. And I think now is the time to start our discussion. Just a note for all our audience, we would like to make this discussion as interactive as possible. So you can type in your questions in the chat window and I will try and take them as and when possible. As we begin, I would like to start with the most pertinent question, and this one goes out to you, Hiren. How do you envision the spaces of tomorrow to be, keeping in mind sustainability and use of technology?
Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for inviting me for this panel. Yes, we all are moving to the fast mode of technology, and the pandemic has really taught us about virtual way of discussing and saving your time and things like that. And I was telling you that that I would be traveling, and I have travel scheduled today. She says, but still we want you, and I say, okay, we will combine both. So I'm on my site visit to the Indore, and meanwhile I was still I could log in and discuss with the panel, and now on a live. So that's a new world which we actually didn't know about 2 years ago. So this is where what it is, and it's really fantastic that like I just let me turn my camera and you can see the wonderful city of Indore, and we are on some 10th floor or something like that. So yeah, so the new way of living is going to change the way of thing with obviously with new technology and automations. But at the same time, we have to be very conscious in terms of the sustainability. So I think so. Like the pandemic has taught us two things: how to work with the technology, but at the same time, coming back to the nature. I mean, most of the people has realized the value of light, ventilation, being outdoor, and uh, being outdoor and go back to the nature. So I think the future, what I see is a combination of both, that using the technology and at the same time be grounded to be a part with the nature.
Absolutely agree with you because, like we said, the future is about revisiting the tradition and then fusing it with technology to be able to achieve the impact that we all desire to have in our spaces. Snehal and Badri, like it's been mentioned, and like Mr. Patel has said as well, there's a lot of stress on energy efficiency and technology. So, what do you think are the smart automation technologies that we must focus on to make our spaces future ready?
Thank you. And happy to see Neeraj, Hiren Bhai, and everybody else.
Yeah.
We have been thinking about your question, and you know what? Though we are for automation many times, but we have deep thinking that it should not be such that it suppresses our, conscience or our normal instincts or our natural instincts, so that we lose the human touch. It should help in energy efficiency, in sustainability, and it can help in minimizing the impact on the environment. That kind of automation is always very welcome. For example, we have those smart robots, remember, who clean the house or mop for nuclear families, or if you don't have help far away, shortage of manpower, or where safety for apartments or even villas is concerned, then automation is very much welcome. But if we keep thinking of only automation while designing, then somehow we lose the originality. It should not overpower our thinking. So, in a bid to automate our lives, we shouldn't just lose or stray away from nature.
And see, in today's world, I think the major problem what we are facing is sustainability and efficiency, and of course, mental well-being. Around our, if you consider our lifespan, 90% of the time we are spending indoors. See, Neeraj is driving, he's in car. Hiranbhai is in hotel, we are in our office, and as soon as we finish our work, we'll go back to our home. So we normally we live inside, uh, where of course where we are missing outdoor activities, which is very essential for us. And also 60% of the carbon emission is from, more than 60% carbon emission is from buildings, from uh, yeah. So we have to consider, we have to take this part seriously about sustainability and energy saving, where this automation can be a big help to us.
So, for example, if you want to go on a vacation, so first thought that our mind is, mountain, river. You want to stay away from automation, signal nahi hai, because we all know that the mobile radiation is, it's like cancer. Often that's what they say. So imagine if we go to a hotel or if we go to a hospital and we are greeted by a robot versus being greeted by a human. Experience would be so different. So it's important, I think, to have the human connect. Otherwise, we go into isolation. Pandemic made us realize that we go into isolation, we go into depression. So fundamentally, I think the balance, the wisdom, where to use and how much to use automation.
Correct.
I absolutely agree with you that, they say that, if you're using smart automation, unless you use it smartly, it doesn't really serve the purpose. So a lot really depends on how you use the products. And yes, of course, there is no second thought about the fact that the human touch should never be lost, whether it is while designing with or without automation at all. In fact, this reminds me of those times when maybe a couple of years back, where everybody used to want to be away from social media. But pan to the last 2 years, where everybody's out there on Instagram, and the people who actually have the first mover advantage are the people who actually took on to social media in the beginning. So yes, I completely agree with you. You need to have the balance, but at the same time, it's something which is the future, and we definitely need to keep that in mind. Mr. Manoj, so I'm sure a lot of research has gone into the kind of products that you're bringing out in the market. And behind that research, there must be some key findings which you could share with us and maybe tell us how we can address those.
Well, very valid points placed on the table. You cannot be as automated as the fact that we forget we are human beings and we also have a position in this world and in this universe. So, point really appreciated and a point respected. Frankly, in automation, what the intent is to make life easy, make convenient, and make comfortable. At no stage is automation intended to replace something that you would want yourself to do. Now, especially in the Indian context, when we were talking of automation and we did the research, one very categoric point came on the table, that are you offering a manual override? Because at the end of the day, how much soever you may program the platform or the app, there is a point in time when you want to do things your way. And is your way the automation system is going to do things? Sorry, no. So all the automation solutions that we offer to the table have very conspicuously a manual override where you can finally, at the end of the day, if you wish, you can decide what you want that system to do. Point one. Point two, there was a mention on sustainability. All lighting solutions are LED, which are zero mercury, lead free. They are completely hazard free and they are carbon neutral. If you are talking of energy conservation, automation can offer you as high as 50% energy saving. Now, there are two ways of looking at it. 50% energy saving means 50% energy released to the grid for industrial development, realty, infrastructure. The other way of looking at it is 50% energy saved is 50% less trees felled in the forests. So, the entire philosophy of automation is not to replace human beings, not to make life as automated that you start forgetting who you are, but it is intended to be an enabler. And especially in the context of the last 2 years since the pandemic has hit us, we are all working from home. So life at home has completely changed. I used to spend 8 hours a day at home. Today I spend 24. Now I need my office at home. Would an erstwhile home offer me those kinds of flexibilities at my home? No. But automation today offers you that ability to have your room locked, to have a soundproof interior, to have a noise-free environment, and also all the electrical gadgetry getting programmed to allow you to live life. And that is what home and Sylvan together are actually going to bring to the table.
Absolutely, and that sounds like a great portfolio, no doubt about it. Karan, you tell me, from a developer's point of view, what is your focus when it comes to projects in the near future? How are you meeting the client's needs?
From 2018, Shivalik is a green company. So we have converted our all residential and all commercial project into IGBC. And I would feel the customer, what we get out of 10, 2 customers always ask, did you give automation? So 5 years back, there were no questions about automation. There was one person when I was talking to for solar panel, and that guy was dealing into automation as well. The solar panel person said we can pay back in 5 years. And the home automation person said, my automation will give you payback in 1 year. So this company provides so inexpensive to provide this automation system. And maybe after a decade, if everybody will ask, do you provide tiles, sanitary ware? So it would be a compulsion for developers to provide automation. In one of our projects, we have a mixed-use project. So we designed 7-layer security. So everything would be access control with boom barrier, face ID, then access cards. So it's a compulsion for us. And we can't deny that we will not give automation because customers are demanding. So that is the future. And before 5 years, people used to check, did you off the light? Did you off the AC? Did you off the gas knob? But now it's so easy. We can control everything on our mobile. So it's again safe for future.
Absolutely agree with you. Like we mentioned earlier as well, a lot about how you use it into your benefit. Kiran, could you suggest ways of using automation so we can make our spaces more energy efficient?
Yeah, so I mean, what Taral was saying, yeah, I also agree that automation is the facility, and it's not something going against us, but it is helping us. If somebody already said that it saves your it payback is only 1 year. Yes, things we as human, if we can, we may forget many things which automation will help you out. Let's say, for example, if your automation you go to the bathroom and it's required the sensible sense and the lights is on, and when you leave the lights are off. I mean, it's just a wonderful thing. Now sometimes as a human we start thinking that are we going too much into this automation and kind of thing, and are we getting dependent? That's the fear. But otherwise automation is not. So the when we, let's say, try to avoid automation is basically it's a fear of technology taking over
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Mhm.
but it's become lifestyle. I mean, for me, I mean, people say you do wonderful sketches, but I see it's my limitations. I do sketches because I'm not trained architect with the computers, so that's why I do it. But now so many, I mean, many of our colleges know they say that you have to do hand sketch, hand sketch. I say nothing doing. I mean, the new generation kids, they are so good at the computer. Let them do, because they are one step ahead, because they can do 10 times faster than me. I mean, yes, hand sketch may look beautiful, but thinking pattern here, they have a different thing. So the same thing happens as once we start adopting the automation technology, it's obviously helps you out, and it improves your lifestyle, it improves your sustainability. We say that it saves your energy, carbon footprint will get reduced. It gives you alarm that okay, you have been watching so much time on TV. The automation system will say that you have enough of your watch. No, I mean, if you take these things wisely, I mean, anything over excess use is not good for everyone. So that's what we say, and that's what we also say. The pandemic has taught us to go back to the nature. But when I'm nature, and if my the some system helps me out telling about some more information, it is wonderful. So automation is meant for that, and it is it is going to be a part of our system. I mean, it's hardly I can see the few years that it will become as simple like switches. I mean, no more this something speciality. It will become a part of. I mean, air conditioning has already become part of our lifestyle now. So similar with the automation in the wherever it's going to be a part of our daily routine. I mean, it's no more going to be something special about it. That's what I
I
feel.
absolutely agree with you, and I appreciate your honesty about being apprehensive initially and then taking on to automation and technology. It is very heartwarming to know that as well. Sayal and Badri, would you like to tell us about how, as architects and designers, you could push the boundaries to achieve the kind of buildings that we foresee in the future, whether they are with automation, with in sync with nature, all of that together?
So automation is actually becoming, more efficient. For us, obviously, our efficiency increases because automation is work जो हम पहले करते थे, which was and compared to because of computers or other kinds of software, obviously our efficiency has increased.
But I think the bottom line is automation is good tool or a fantastic tool for efficiency, energy saving, and sustainability. I think that is the bottom line.
Absolutely, and you design a lot of sustainable spaces. So my question to you really is that what do we expect from design, a sustainable design of the future with automation in it? What can we do to sort of fuse the two elements together?
The prime focus would be that we design with more energy efficiency, which connects with nature. So, word that comes to my mind is humanistic automation.
Machines can be incredibly faster, efficient, but sometimes they are stupid. Where we are incredibly slower, inaccurate, but we are brilliant at our work. So I think nobody can replace human beings and our wisdom. And particularly being Indian, we all are sustainable. We know how to do energy saving, how to do sustainable design since our childhood. It is in being in India. Everybody who's sitting here, they know what you mean by sustainability.
Starts from home.
It starts from home. But of course, the tools, automation tool will be again a great help because it will give you the data, how much energy you are saving, what are the parameters, what are the numbers. It will give you the numbers exactly. Somebody who is registered in IGBC, so what they will ask. Everybody is doing green building, but IGBC will ask for the numbers. Okay, the data. So automation will help us to get those data. At the same time, when you are getting some data, you will be encouraged. Okay, we can achieve this, we can achieve this. Those number will definitely help us. Otherwise, human-centric automation is always welcome for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And like
If
Mr.
I may,
For a green building, it will ask for statistics. So, photograph, kitna excavation hua, wo kahan use hua, everything.
And I think no automation also gives you lots of flexibility. If I mean Snehal is very, let's say, conscious with nature. I mean his home system can be designed that okay, now Snehal, it's a time for you both to go on terrace and see the stars, and entire house will completely go off grid. So I mean that's the beauty. So I think
yes,
Absolutely
if
agree
I
with
may,
you, Mr.
if
Yes, Manoj.
yeah, if I may, I fully agree. At the end of the day, as human beings, we want our presence to be felt and we want us to be recognized by people around. So, to that extent, loss of identity is something none of us are going to appreciate. But the good part of automation is, and this is something which is research work going on. So, I mean, fortunately, I'm privy to it, so I'll just share. I can have human centric lighting. I can have artificial intelligence where, if, say, for example, I install an automation system in your home and a platform, and I would like to emphasize here, which has full data security and security that nobody knows other than you where you live and how is your lifestyle. Because that's a big challenge today. Data security is a big issue. Anybody can log into my house, and there are enough hackers roaming on the streets of this world. So we are ensuring that there are adequate, like somebody said, there is a 7 grid security system. We have adequate security firewalls where you will have data security about your home automation platform and your mobile app that you have. But AI is going to bring a situation where for 1 year, the database is going to analyze how you use that mobile app. At what time of the day do you like your geyser on? At what time of the afternoon you like your curtains drawn? What is the kind of lighting you prefer in the morning, day, afternoon, and evening? And as Hiren mentioned, it will also tell you it's time for you to go to the test. So here is an automation system which is assisting you to live life with the convenience, ease, and comfort that you always wanted. In the manual era, if you wanted to do something, you had to actually plan it, program it, and execute it. Here is a application which is going to actually start tracking the way you do. I mean, our automation platform has a feature of geofencing. You are 2 kilometers within the radius of your home, your boom barrier will get activated, the front door lock will get activated, your lift will know which floor you need to go to if you're in an apartment. Before you enter the door, the AC is on, the curtains are drawn, the music is, Beethoven is playing. You can have everything. Now,
It's a lot about the experience that you have to.
so one may say you are replacing a human being. I would go on the contrary to say here is an invisible human being who has understood what you like and how you like to live life and is assisting you to live it to the fullest.
Absolutely. Neeraj, do let us know when you're ready to take questions, and I have a bunch of them for you. So do keep us updated when you're in a position to take the questions. In the meanwhile, Taral, I'd like to ask you that you are pretty pro automation and you have definitely seen that there is a demand for that from the client's point of view as well. So does it really help in scalability from a developer's point of view and saves cost when you're doing a large scale project?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Mr. Manoj when he said you can't replace human, right? But when we have a project and we keep 10 security guards, ideally they are sitting at the project. if we can save 5 guards and if we install automation system, we can train those people in other skill work, right? So ideal man, we should not keep a man ideal only for security. Now even everybody is working from home, so everybody can use that automation, and I think it's not that expensive. If you are spending maybe 10% of your interiors in automation, maybe you will save that cost. And we are used to of digitalization. So before 10 years, we were not much into mobile and automation. But now we can't live our life without mobile. So maybe in this panel, I think all are more than 40 years old people. If you take some panelist of maybe teenager or 20-year guy, he'll say after 10 years, I need everything on automation because they are not that human friendly. They want to live their own life by their own terms. They want everything on their fingertips.
Absolutely. So, Neeraj, tell us your thoughts on using automation for design of the future.
So I think a lot of points have been covered, and I think it's very nicely done in the sense that whatever have been apprehensions or the pain points, I think Mr. Verma has already kind of addressed it. And in general as well, not only in terms of the products that are available, with Polycab today, right? With what Home is going to be doing, but I think overall there are 2 or 3 things that I can see as a trend, and this is the way everybody's reacting, especially architects and designers. One is that I still feel that we are still at a nascent stage. And this I'm saying after having used automation since 10 years, in terms of acceptability. And 10 years meaning we have worked on, you name the platform, whether it's Xantech, Crestron, Lutron, extensions of Honeywell, or other switching companies or switches itself, which have extensions, Elan, all of it, or Zigbee. So there have been multiple technologies that have come in. There are a lot of retrofit technologies that are available today for automation, which only means that we are in a certain kind of a cycle as far as automation is concerned. And we have still not completely matured in 2 ways. One is in terms of an understanding. 2 is also trying to understand our own need, and not just us as designers, but as humans. Our own need is of automation is still kind of little confused for a lot of reasons, right? Also the cost part, where initially the automation a few years back costed anywhere between 15 to 20 lakhs for a 3 or 4 BHK apartment. In fact, even more. To do all of these things today, it has obviously reduced drastically. And I believe that the more it reduces, the more people use it, the more easier it's going to become. The other is what Hirenbhai was saying, what even Snail mentioned, is this whole barrier that we have as far as adapting any technology is concerned, and that's a general human tendency. But let us look at how in India, I mean, every small chai galla also has a Paytm, right? I mean, so the mode of payment has changed. Things adapt. We are the most adaptive, race on this planet for sure. I mean, of course, the Chinese are doing it quite well too. But as Indians, we are pretty early adapters as far as technology is concerned. Now, the idea of sustainability, again, that was also addressed very well. And we were working on something, a project in Bangalore, which was a collaboration with a real estate company, etc. The amount of technology that was being used, where most of it was about recording and analyzing. And this is another thing that was brought up. Even Taral mentioned this, that today when we have technology and automation, it is definitely going to help as far as sustainability is concerned. Sustainability and automation are not on the opposite side, for sure. It is only going to help. The intent has to be correct, and automation is going to be able to help us deliver that in the best way by recording, by being able to give us enough data and then to analyze it in order to control and make those changes. Still a generalized opinion. I personally definitely feel that it will become like a large Indian thali. There'll be so many parts of automation. People will not necessarily go in for everything altogether, but there will need to be a lot more plug-in kind of modules. So it'll have need to have a modularity. It'll need to have retrofit options, and I think a lot of automation companies are doing it, and I can see that already in Home because it is 360, and I love the fact that it says it's not just about your home, it's your entire, even outside your home. Also, I must tell Badri and Snehal that, when they're thinking of going to the mountains and the beaches and the sea, and on a holiday, the automation is going to help them monitor, the cameras that are there. The automation is going to help them, be a little more relieved as far as, security is concerned, or, trying to open the door for somebody else, even when they are sitting and having a good time in the Himalayas. So yes, so that's my take
Very
on
thoughtfully put,
automation for the
Neeraj.
future.
Absolutely. That is definitely another thought process, and I'm sure all of us would agree that yes, it does make a lot of sense. Thanks for that input, Neeraj. In fact, since we are at Snehal and Badri, tell me that, these days a lot of spaces have to be designed to be flexible, correct? So your homes need to function as your offices, and your offices need to be flexible to be used in a multi-purpose format to be able to save costs. How do we create spaces that are more flexible? So I feel that flexibility, like mentioned earlier, is one of the aspects of design for the future. So how can we create spaces that are more flexible?
First of all, I think it's all in the mind, the state. Even if you're at home and if you decide, I want to work, then you all have to do is make up your mind that I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit at 9:30, come what may. And if it's in your mind and you're going to do it, it happens. So,
but as a designer and architect, what input can you do to create spaces that are flexible?
Yeah, so rightly what we have done in recent hour, all of the sites, we have installed the cameras. So where we can literally see what is going on the site. Don't need to go every day to the site. We can monitor all the site, most of the site. I'm not saying everybody is able to do that, but most of the we have installed cameras so that we can see what is going on the site. So that is how I think even but wherever we are, we can work from anywhere from the world. Because mostly for an architect, we need to connect to the site, what is happening at the site, and of course be in the touch with the client. So that will be very easier for us by doing this. So as of now, we are installed the camera everywhere where we can do. And by doing this, of course, we are gathering all the data also.
Absolutely. Hiren, could you elaborate on what kind of projects do you think that automation is best suited for? Is there a particular size or a scale of a project where the energy efficiency levels do make a lot of sense?
I think the large scale project like housing projects, anything which is in multiple, the automation really helps a lot in terms of saving energy. So if you see automation, there are two things comes in a kind of mind to me. One is like experience, and second one is actually it is helping you out in saving in terms of energy, in terms of time and everything. So if you take automation in terms of saving aspects, definitely it is helping us in most of the projects which are the large scale, let's say, or the people who are running lots of factory, or that's as Snehal also said that they now monitor by sitting there office wherever, and they can see virtually they do site visits and kind of thing. So housing, definitely I do lots of housing, so in housing automation really helps. It can be really become like a good blessings in terms of saving, because we Indian are very conscious. I mean, if there are the builders would give 5 light points into the parking, but once the members will take over, they will switch on only one tube light, and I feel proud of that, because we are really, I mean, we all are like that. If you are sitting in our, let's say, room, and if the bedroom fan is on, we will get up and we'll switch it off. So automation is the one which saves the energy, works well with the such kind of project where and the figures could be in it could be in in terms of saving electricity, you can feed maybe 2 more cities. That much saving can happen. And for the larger scale, which is high-end project, either it's a house or it's a restaurant or it's a hotel, where automation has to create another environment, atmosphere, and the experience. So I would see use in both aspects, where there's a unlimited budget automation really helps you out to create a different kind of mood set and everything. Where the if you see in sensitive way, also you can use in and even the studio apartment or the one bedroom apartment, it can help you much more than the in terms of saving your electricity bill and etc.
That sounds really interesting. Mr. Verma, maybe you could give us some more insights on how much energy efficiency can smart automation provide.
When we started talking of LED as a technology brought energy saving. Then we said we'll use dimming. So dimming brought some element of energy saving. Now you're talking of automation. Under automation, you are saying you will do day linking, you will do occupancy sensing, and you will also design the interior for the work that is going to get done. So if I stack up all these functionalities and the options that you have in terms of designing an interior, now interior could be anything, a home, an office, a retail shop, a hospital, or a hotel. We can talk as high as 50% saving in energy, which would include the HVAC system being linked to temperature control. In a home, I can have the fans and the AC aligned to each other, that the moment the temperature of say 24 degrees is what I want, the moment 24 degrees is achieved, the AC switch is off and the fan keeps circulating the air at 24 degrees. The moment it goes beyond 25, the fan goes off, the AC comes on. So there is an intelligent, I would say, interplay between gadgetry to ensure that, it is something like 120 musicians playing individually, and that is not music, but 120 musicians playing together, that's a symphony. So automation is about creating a symphony, and the end result is 50% energy saving.
So Neeraj, tell me, you mentioned that you have been using automation for about 10 years now. What has been your feedback and what has been your experience? And at what stage do people actually bring in automation in the projects?
Very, very relevant question, Sumisha. In fact, hadn't you asked this, I would have brought this in somehow. Really, because and that's what I mean by a life cycle. What has happened is that there are a lot of early adapters, who had the money at that point to to spend on expensive automation. By the end of it, very frankly, they did not end up using all of it. So initial years, actually, there was a lot of waste. A lot of those people actually did not want to, they got put off by it. They got put off by the whole idea of automation because it was not making it simpler. And as Mr. Verma also mentioned, right, it's about simplicity, making life simpler and more comfortable. And we are still not even talking about that. We are still talking about everything else, which is we are talking about sustainability, which is one aspect of it, and we are not denying that at all, because it's going to work hand in hand. The other is in some cases where one had missed the boat, and there a lot of retrofit options started coming in. That has been another large part that is coming in bits and pieces, which was a great learning, which meant that the users were very aware of what exactly they wanted. So now what has happened, they say, nahi, mere ko na subah sirf khali curtain mere ko kholna hai. I don't need anything else. I don't want my. Then we insist that, your home is about, lighting as a mood, and you need to change it. And we would do it only with regular switching and then retrofit it. It's not retrofit really, but then kind of, just change 2 plates and say that at least this is better. Now you've got 3 moods. So you can do this. So what happened, it started becoming piecemeal. Instead of giving the full thali, you're saying, okay, khali dal or sabji, roti or sabji le lo, thoda sa ye kar lo, and which is an informed decision. So people are at different, as the
levels of action
itself is at a life cycle, people are also at a different level receiving these things. So today, if you really ask me, a lot of people are confused. And that's the reason most of the designers are also confused. Really, we don't know where to start. And as Mr. Verma also said that, not just recording, etc. It will be, it was a brilliant analogy. The symphony analogy was great. The only problem is that symphony is scary. You can get a guitarist and start getting him to, strum the guitar in your own party in a small room of 4 people. But for an orchestra, you need a lot of preparation. And that's, that's
true, very true, very true.
And that's what is mentally a block, because it means that there is so much happening behind it.
I fully respect what you are saying, Neeraj. anything new, I mean, they always say change is always for the better, but when it is technology, the change is never for the better. Because what happens is there is somebody who's euphoric about bringing it to you. He brings a black box, commits the moon, it doesn't work, your experience is bad, and you actually, I have also done it. So, I mean, I have gone through it myself. So, what you do is you actually blame the equipment, not really the fact that it was a wrong equipment handed over or palmed off to you. I'll tell you my personal experience. 5 years ago, I was in Delhi, and this pollution stuff forced me to buy two air purifiers, which I bought within 4 hours because I was scared to death about my family. I brought two air purifiers, and fortunately or unfortunately, 1 month down the lane, I got a consulting job, and over the next 3 months, I did research on air purifiers. The conclusion was I had bought two black boxes which were not supposed to be meant for my home. That's typically what is happening to emerging technologies. The reason why at Polycab we said we are not going to be in a hurry to catch the bandwagon. We'll do our homework, we'll do our research, we'll figure out what is it that we should actually offer, which is a value proposition to the consumer and a designer as you. And that's how we are here. Perhaps maybe we are late compared to the Crestrons and the Schneiders, but we wanted to be on time and with the ready solution.
Absolutely. I'm going to quickly take some questions from the audience before we wrap up. I believe FB needs to leave as well. Satinder Malhotra says that he's an interior designer and would like to know details of different automation devices for smart homes and smart projects. We touched upon that in the past, but Mr. Verma, if you could just identify a couple of them before we move on to the next question.
See, we have smart plugs. We have a full range of integrated touch panels, which means touch panels which will replace your normal switches. You can do anything that you want. So maybe what I would request is at the end of this webinar, we are going to give an email ID where you can push in your request. And I have my colleague who's a product specialist on the webinar itself, Devanshu Mishra is his name. I will ensure that he connects with you and gives you all the answers that you're looking for. And this is something which is to everybody who's on the show today.
Mr. Patel, if you can take this, Ishan Garg wants to know that is automation only for elite projects or it can be used for mid-segment or lower segment projects as well?
No, I would say the reverse. The automation is for the people who are most in need. So it works more. It works more meaningful. I mean, for the elite people, if I put it simple way, the money doesn't have any criteria. So there is another kind of field. But I would say the real value of automation is where if I can use automation in the slum quarters, nothing like it.
That's a very, very unique thought. And in fact, I'd like to add to that maybe a lot of elders are probably apprehensive towards it. But I feel that if we started introducing these automation systems for senior citizen homes or even for your children, maybe a lot of us could benefit from something like that. The next question that we have is that somebody wants to know that is there a smart automation product for double height windows and glare control?
You can have daylight linking where for double height windows, depending on the sunlight coming in, you can manage the artificial lighting, number one. Number two, you can have motorized Venetian blinds, you can have motorized curtains, which can manage the intensity of light coming into your room depending on the time of the day and the brightness of the sun. So, I mean, you place your issue on the table, whether it is lighting, whether it is heating, whether it is air conditioning, or whether it is music, automation has an answer to your requirement.
I have a couple of people, Rajesh and Amita, who want to know about automation for landscaping and outdoors.
Well, automation for outdoor is, frankly, if you ask me personally, it's my fascination. I can offer you a Brindavan garden effect on your mobile. Now, for those of us who have seen the Brindavan gardens and the sound and light show, I can offer it to you in your garden, where the fountain can come on, the lights can come on, the lights can dance to the music that you play, whether it is Beethoven or Metallica. It can open boom barriers. It can, landscape lighting is something which can be created as a dreamland with automation. You can do everything that you want to do with fountains, with lights, with whatever have you. Yes, possible.
Fantastic. Maybe, Hiren, that's a cue for your next project since you use a lot of landscaping.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
No, but Hiren, I really respect your point. I mean, sorry, I'll take 30 seconds. I was talking to somebody who was designing an HNI home, and this HNI home was a home which perhaps was possibly, if I can put a number, was something like a 20-30 crore project. And when we talked of automation, the challenge he placed on the table, and I'm sorry, I don't mean offense, he says, well, the challenge is how do I train my servants to use it? Actually, automation is for the needy, and which is the mid segment and the lower income group, where even 5 watts of energy saved means a hell of a lot to them.
Absolutely.
I fully agree.
I have 2 really relevant questions. I'm going to quickly pick them up. One is which says that do we need wiring for automation, or can we do it without wiring? So this is something which we missed out. So maybe Mr. Verma can address that.
Well, automation has 2 platforms. One is a wired solution. So if you already have wiring in your home, give us your home, and in 48 hours, we'll convert it into a smart home as a retrofit solution in your existing system. That is number one. The other option is an IoT based, which will work on the Wi-Fi connection that you have in your home. But the Wi-Fi automation, and I want to be honest here, has challenges because the signal strength in a home is a question. So what we are doing from the house of Polycab is before we install the automation system in your home, we will check the signal strength across all your homes. So if you need a router or if you need a booster, we'll offer you that to ensure that it works seamlessly. So both are possible.
Thank you so much, everybody. I have a couple of more questions, but I think we'll have to take them later. Maybe I can email it to the panelists and respond to them later. And I think by now we have established that the future of design is going to be a lot about sustainability, flexibility, use of technology, and it's definitely going to be very consumer-centric and collaborative. When I think of smart automation, I do think of Polycab as a brand, and I wish Polycab all the best with the new launch. And I hope people in Ahmedabad accept it just like people everywhere in the country have. We're going to go on to the quiz. Yes, Neeraj.
Sorry, there is another very, very apt question, and I know it may kind of sound a little off, but it'll be great if Mr. Verma can answer that. And believe me, I'm sure everybody's going to resonate that. Somebody's saying that there are a lot of vendors for automation. There is so much competition. The sound guy has become an automation guy. The lighting guy has become an automation guy. The wiring guy has become an automation guy. The computer hardware guy has become an automation guy. Apple is already has very, very robust systems within the Apple platform itself. How does one choose which company, which brand, and who?
Super. There is a buzzword nowadays which is called a system integrator. So if you have nothing to do, you become a system integrator, and what you do is you create a catalog of 1,000 brands, some Indian, some Chinese, some European, and you say, I can do everything for you. And what you actually do is you catch a customer like Neeraj, and then you make him go round and round with solutions. And instead of a symphony, you land up with a cacophony. So if you ask me honestly, a company that has its in-house development of products, and more important than the product, a company which has in-house capability of creating a platform that can integrate these functionalities is the brand I would urge the consumers and the designers to go for. So if you go to a Lutron has a platform, and let me respect them, they are good. I mean, I know Lutron myself. We acquired Sylvan for the pure capability that they have acquired over a decade now on integrating platforms. So whether you're talking a Zigbee, you were mentioning a lot of these platforms. Now, Sylvan has a mastery on KNX, on Zigbee, on Crestron. So we want to leave the flexibility of the platform. Depending on the platform that you need for the installation in question, Sylvan will bring you a solution. So that's the capability.
That's fantastic. And like we always say, research, and I'm sure you'll get the answer to that question as well.
Absolutely.
I'm going to quickly move on to the quiz that all our viewers have been waiting for. How we're going to play is that we're going to put up the question here, and all the viewers can answer in the chat window. The first person to give the right answer will be the winner. So shall we get the quiz started? That's really quick. Everybody's been, I think it was a part of the conversation that is really taken up. Wow, that was really quick. Great. So do we have all the questions? Oh, there's one more. That was great, and I was really very active participation from the audience. So thank you so much, everybody. While we wait for the results, I'm going to quickly move on to making my vote of thanks. And of course, my vote of thanks must begin with Polycab India for creating this fabulous forum for such meaningful and engaging conversation. The launch of Home definitely marks an entry into home automation, and I wish Polycab, along with Sylvan, all the best for its success. I want to thank all our esteemed panelists for taking their time out and sharing their valuable views on this pertinent topic of futuristic design with us. Thank you, Hiren. Thank you, Bhantri and Snehal, Neeraj, Taran, Manoj. I got to learn so much from all of you today. It's a matter of pride for us at ITP to be anchors of this very special launch by Polycab, and we look forward to continuing these series with architect and industry professionals from across the country. In fact, I would like to share that we're getting ready for one of the biggest virtual events of the year with the iGen 2021. It's going to be a day-long discourse followed by the most coveted iGen Awards scheduled for September 29th. And again, you're going to see some of the most prominent names in the architecture and design fraternity being a part of this event. I hope to see all of you there. Thank you once again to the entire team of Polycab India, ITP India, and Architects and Interiors India for collaborating seamlessly to make the launch of Home and this panel discussion such a great success. Thank you everybody for joining us. I think it's time to announce the winners of the quiz.
The winners are, the first one is Parth Rana, the second winner is Uday Govalkar, and the third winner is Bipin Patel.
Congratulations to the winners.
And thank you once again, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.